We are going to be starting R2 today. R2 is still review from Unit R, and today we'll be polynomials and factoring. Our learning targets are I can add, subtract, and multiply polynomials, and I can factor polynomials. Both are very important skills that you have seen before, and you'll see them throughout this whole course. They're so important to know how to do, especially factoring. So let's first define a few of these words that we'll hear as we talk about different things we do throughout this course. The first one is a polynomial. Poly means many. So a polynomial has many terms. And the thing that is important is that it usually has terms with exponents. And those exponents are whole numbers. So we wouldn't have any negative exponents or fraction exponents on polynomials. So that we might see things like x squared, x cubed, x to the fourth. So we have a lot of terms with exponents, but the thing that makes it a polynomial when we're talking about it is that the exponents are whole numbers. A monomial just has one term. So maybe just something like 3x to the fourth power. That would be a monomial. It just has one term and it has exponents. That's a whole number. The number in front, if you remember, is called a coefficient. So 3 is the coefficient. And then this would have x to the fourth power. So binomial means it has two terms. Like x plus 5 is a binomial because there's two terms. And a trinomial has three terms. The most common types of polynomials we see have an x squared, so maybe something like this, x squared plus 5x plus 6. So that would be a trinomial because there are three terms. And all of those are examples of polynomials. So to simplify polynomials, we should be able to add and subtract them as well as multiply them. And later on in Unit 3, we will review how to divide them. So for now, we're just adding, subtracting, and multiplying. So if we look at number 1, it involves quite a few operations. So in each set of parentheses is the polynomial. So this one has a trinomial here, a binomial, and then another trinomial. And then in between are the operations we're doing. So this one we're adding and then subtracting. And then this binomial also has that 3 in front of it. So when there is a number in front or two terms next to each other without a symbol in between, we know that means multiply. Okay, so here we're multiplying by a constant, and then we're also adding and subtracting. All right, so let's try this problem. So our first polynomial here, since it doesn't have any numbers in front that we're multiplying by, I don't have to do anything with this polynomial. I'm just going to remove it from its parentheses because at the end, we're going to just want to combine all these like terms. So this one is going to be 2x squared minus 3x plus 5. I just wrote it without its parentheses because it doesn't really need them. Now this one, to write it without the parentheses, I have to multiply both of these by 3. And since it's a plus 3 times x minus 4, I can distribute a positive 3 to both of those. And so then this will give me a plus 3x and a minus 12. Always be careful of your signs. And then right here, I am subtracting. So the parentheses are important, but in order to combine terms, I want to get rid of those parentheses. So when when we have subtraction, we have to remember that we are subtracting all of these terms, not just the minus 4x. We have to subtract 6x, and we have to subtract 2. A lot of people prefer to think about it with a coefficient of 1. And so then, since I'm subtracting, I can actually distribute a negative 1 to all of these. So then that will give me a negative 4x squared, or a minus 4x squared, a minus 6x, and a minus 2. Okay, now I've got rid of all the parentheses. Now we just have to combine like terms. So like terms have to have the same variable and exponent. So here are one set of like terms. Those are the terms that have an x squared. To combine, we're just adding or subtracting. So I have 2x squared and negative 4x squared. If I combine or add those together, we have negative 2x squared. The next like terms are the terms with x's. So we have a minus 3x, a positive 3x, and a minus 6x. Or you can think of it as a negative 3x, a positive 3x, and a negative 6x. So when I combine or add those together, negative 3x and 3x is 0, and then negative 6x. So we have a minus 6x. And then our last type of term is the numbers. We have 5 minus 12 minus 2. Or you can think of it as 5 plus negative 12 plus negative 2. So 5 plus negative 12 is negative 7. And negative 7 plus negative 2 is negative 9. So after we got rid of all the parentheses, I was able to combine like terms. And now our answer is negative 2x squared minus 6x minus 9. That's as much as I can simplify. So that example involved adding, subtracting, and multiplying by a constant. Now number 2, we're multiplying two polynomials together. So in this case, we have a binomial, 5x minus 3, which is in parentheses, and then we have this trinomial, 2x squared plus 6x minus 8. Those are in parentheses. Now, when there is not an operation symbol in between, we know that these are multiplied. Anytime that I'm multiplying, especially when I have a trinomial, I think most students have an easier time keeping their work straight if they use the box method. You do not have to use the box method. Box method is the same as distributive property. It's just a different way to organize it. So you could distribute here. You'd have to distribute the 5x to all three of these, and then also distribute the negative 3 to all three of these. And then combine like terms. Same thing if we're using the box method. So I'm going to use the box method. So on one side of my box, I'm going to have 5x and negative 3 or minus 3. And then 2x squared plus 6x minus 8. All right, so doing the box method, I'm just multiplying the two terms on the outsides. This is where we have to use a little bit of our exponent rules. So right here, if I have 5x times 2x squared, I'm going to get 10x cubed because I'm multiplying for the numbers. 5 times 2 gives us the 10. For the variables, we have x times x squared. This is like an x to the first times x squared, so I add those, and I get 10x cubed. I add the exponents. All right, in this one, we have 5x times 6x is plus 30x squared. And 5x times negative 8 is negative 40x. Then in the second row here, negative 3 times 2x squared is negative 6x squared. Negative 3 times 6x is negative 18x. And negative 3 times negative 8 is positive 24. Most common error is just sign errors. So always be careful with your positive and negative signs. Now I have to combine like terms. So I have 6 terms here. Usually when we do box method, the like terms will be in the diagonal. So I'll be able to combine those ones, and I'll be able to combine these ones. So I have 10x cubed. That doesn't have any like terms. I can combine a negative 6x squared and a positive 30x squared, which is positive 24x squared. I can combine these ones. A negative 18x and a negative 40x is a negative 58x. And then I just have the plus 24, which does not have any like terms. All right, and there is our polynomial when we multiply those. So this happens to end up as a polynomial with 4 terms.